In this YouTube video, we are going to talk about captions, subtitling and transcriptions, and we are going to use three tools: TurboScribe, DeepL and Adobe Premiere Pro. And yes, I am going to explain what these 6 things are after the intro. So first of all, I would like to explain the difference between transcriptions, captions and subtitling, since that is a question that I recently found out what differences is between the three. So let me explain it really quickly. A transcription is the easiest to explain, since that is just a written form of a speech or dialogue. So let's say that you have an interview and then you just write everything down that is being said. Congratulations, you just transcribed that interview. However, you can also do the same with audio files. You can just listen to an audio file, write everything down manually, just write everything down, and congratulations, now you have created a transcription from an audio file. So that is a transcription. The difference between captions and subtitling, since they are both transcriptions, however, there is a slight difference. Captions is more for people who are who can't hear the audio very well. Let's say you are in a very big room and you don't have much speakers. Then, and I am talking in English, and if the subtitles or if the captions are done in English, then you can call it captions. So captions is nothing more than just a sort of a text support for your current video or any other audio. Subtitling, however, if you are talking about subtitles, you are mostly talking about translations. So you can say, hey, a captions is more for people who can't hear or can't hear at that specific moment. For that, you create captions. And if you need to translate, a translated transcription is a subtitle, so to say. So very easy. A transcription is nothing more than a written out speech dialogue, either in person or from an audio file. Captions is the text below an audio file or below a video in that same language, then you call it captions. And if the transcription is translated, let's say from English to Dutch or from English to German, or from Dutch to German, then you call it subtitles. So that is a very short explanation of the difference between those three. Then we move on to the tools, and as I told you, it's TurboScribe, DeepL and Adobe Premiere Pro, and I'm going to explain it very quickly because of course Demo Walter is waiting there for me to give him the demo, so he can actually show you what these tools are. But a very short explanation. TurboScribe is the first one that we are going to use, and TurboScribe is an AI tool in order for you to create a transcription. So you just have your audio file. It can be an audio file or a video file. You can check the website for the compatible formats, and then you just, as Demo Walter will show you, you just throw it in, you transcribe it, and then you export it to a file which is your transcription. So you don't have to manually write an SRT file with every single small time code and those numbers and the arrows. I'm going to show you in just a bit. But it's time to move on to the second one, and that is DeepL, or I think it's called Deep Learning in full, which is a German translation tool, AI. It's currently the best that I've come across. It might happen because I am using a pro or advanced version of DeepL. And that is just for the translations. And the cool thing about that is, since I have a paid version, you can literally throw an entire webinar transcription of, let's say, 30 minutes in there, and then it create your SRT files once again, so you don't have to type in everything. And the final one, and this is of course for the editing part, and that is Adobe Premiere Pro, which you can find in the on the Adobe website or in the general Adobe Creative Cloud package, so to say. And those are the three tools that we are going to use today. So I'm going to stop talking because it's time for the demo. So I'm going to hand it over to Demo Walter. Yes, thank you Presentation Walter for giving me the demo, of course, since my name is Demo Walter. But just as Presentation Walter said, today we are going to take a look at three tools in order from TurboScribe to DeepL and then to Premiere Pro. And Presentation Walter already told you what these AI tools are about a little bit, so why not demo them, since of course it is the demo. So first of all, let's put our file into TurboScribe. And the file that I've created is just the intro from the video from last week, and it's about a 20-second intro. So right now you will see my screen, and then I'm going to show you how to set them into TurboScribe. So right now you see the TurboScribe dashboard, and as you can see, it is very, very easy to use. I am using the trial version right now, but you can also upgrade as well, so please check out our website. But for now, we are going to use the trial versions. A good thing to know about the trial versions is that you can only upload webinars up 30 minutes, so no longer than 30 minutes, and I actually recommend that you sit around 29 minutes in order for your transcription. So let's say you have a webinar of an hour that you want to transcribe, just cut them in half, right in the middle, and then export the 2 files, and then there you go. You have 3 files every day if you're using the version, the trial version that I'm using right now, a trial or free version more. So right now we are going to transcribe our files. So just click this beautiful button, transcribe files. You have the audio language, which of course is very handy, so the AI, in this case TurboScribe, knows what language it needs to transcribe. In this case it's English, since all the YouTube videos are in English. Then you have the transcription mode. I always use Whale since it's just the most accurate. You also have Dolphin, which is just slightly less, but it also generates it faster. You will see what I mean by that. And then Cheetah is just very, very fast, and you can even see how it's powered. So this one is powered by Whisper based, this one is powered by Whisper Small, and then this one I believe it's by the Whisper Large, of course. So we are going to press a wheel for this one. You also have some more settings, but that's not really necessary because it's just a correctly recorded intro, so to say. I only have 1 speaker, which was me. I am going to transcribe it in English, but the SRT file already does it. And then restore audio, well, I'm in the studio, so there's no need to restore audio, of course. So I think that I'm just going to press browse the files, then go to my correct folder once again, and then upload this intro, and then just press open. And right now it is uploading, so to say. So we just have to wait a little bit, and then we can transcribe it. As you can see, it goes very, very fast since it's a very short 25 seconds clip or something. And then there we go. Then you scroll down, and then you press this beautiful blue button called transcribe. And there we go. So right now it is transcribing. And the funny thing about TurboScribe as well, I have set this feature off, but you can get an email notification for, hey, your transcriptions are ready. Very handy if you have a webinar of 29 minutes and you need to do something else in the meantime, of course. So then you can get an email for, hey, this is TurboScribe, your transcriptions are ready to be downloaded. And another thing that I would like to mention is this is just my way of doing transcriptions for pre-recorded webinars or adding captions to pre-recorded webinars. Of course, there are a lot more options, and there are a lot more AI tools or tools in general that you can use in order to create captions. But right now, this is just the way that we are doing, or at least I do, the transcriptions for all our pre-recorded webinars. As you can see on my screen, the status is done. The duration was 27 seconds. So then you press these 3 dots over here. You can open the transcript, share it, rename it, or delete it. Well, I would like to export it, and it even gives you multiple formats for you to choose. However, we are going to use it in a video, and in a video you need to create an SRT file. So I'm going to set it to SRT file, and then right here below you see section timestamps. Well, this doesn't apply for SRT files, so we don't need to think about that. However, I do want to go to the advanced segmentation settings. And segmentation is just a part of the captions. I will show you what a segment is. But let's say that you have 2 sentences in one segment, then that is your segment. It speaks for itself now that I say it out loud. Then max words per second. I have noticed that it's a good thing to set these a little bit higher, so you have a little bit less segments, because if you just keep it as is or even set it lower, you just get, for every word you get a separate segment, and you have a lot of segments very close to each other because the segments can be that big. So I always put them up by a half. So this one is going to be 12, this one is going to be 15, and this one is going to be 120. Sentence aware segment, if enabled, the start of a new sentence will always create a new segment, which is very, very handy to have this on, which is on by default. And then I'm just going to press download. And then already there we go. So if I press it, it probably will open my Notes app. There you go. And then you will see this SRT file, which is a beautiful 11 segments right now. And this is just what you get from TurboScribe. And since I am, as I told you, using the free version, you can upgrade to remove these matches, but I'm just going to remove it myself. And then, of course, I'm going to press save, because right now I wanted to show you another thing, and that is the translations. Of course, for this video or for this demo, I'm going to keep this in English, because otherwise you will see German or Dutch subtitles and you're like, huh? I can't see if this is correct or not. So I am going to show you, but don't you worry, for the final subtitles, I am going to use the English version. But this is an SRT file. A very good thing to note is that you do need to have this blank space between every single one. So you start at 1, then you have the time code, which needs to be very specifically this as well, because otherwise it won't recognize it as an SRT file. And if you put it in Adobe Premiere Pro, which I will do in just a bit, it will say generic error, because the SRT file is, it says, I think it's, no, it says generic error, and then you can import your SRT file. And that's probably because either you don't have a blank space, or you accidentally press the 2 and now it's 1, 3, 3, 4, and it just completely messes up your SRT file. So please, please be aware that the devil in this case is in the details, because every little single dot or comma that you add has impact on the SRT file. So just please keep it as is. I'm going to change it right away. But for now, I'm going to show you our translation tool, or my translation tool of choice, which is Deep Learning, or DeepL for short. So I'm going to Ctrl-Alt and I'm going to copy this text. And then I'm going to head over to DeepL. And for the DeepL version, I am using a premium version. So it automatically detects the language. I already set it to Dutch and informal, since our language is informal for the captions. So I'm going to press Ctrl-V, and then it will generate the Dutch captions. And I'm going to check real quick. On this YouTube channel, made a video which is shared with the video folder prepared, 5 presentation tips, and I think the AI, if you can speak Dutch, you will probably see that the AI did a pretty good job at translating this SRT file. So, and then of course you can just copy this text, and since you have downloaded an SRT file from TurboScribe, I would just copy that SRT file, remove the text from the copy, and then add the Dutch text inside of that, and then press save, so you have a Dutch SRT file as well. Because if you are just creating another text file, it won't recognize it as an SRT file, and you can upload it in Adobe Premiere Pro. So that is how you can translate it, but just as I told you, I'm going to use the English version for this one as well. So it is time to open up Premiere Pro and add the captions to our intro. So I'll be back in just a sec. We are going to go to Premiere Pro right now. And here you will see the Adobe Premiere Pro interface, so to say. I'm not going to give you a tutorial on Adobe Premiere Pro, because it's just a lot, and I have over 7 years of experience in Adobe Premiere Pro as we are speaking. So if you would like to have an edit tutorial or an edit video on this WebinarGeek YouTube channel, let me know in the comments below. But for now, we are going to import our video file and our SRT file. So I will head over to footage, and then I like to just drag the folder right here, because it's just uploads the folder with the footage inside, so you don't have to create a bin in Premiere Pro. So I'm going to head over to footage. I'm just going to place my intro right here, and if it all went well, it creates a sequence automatically. And then just for the sake of consistency, sequences, there we go. And then I've created a bin, and then right here is my sequence. Then I'm going to make this screen a little bit bigger. It's already on text, which is very, very great. Because right here inside of Premiere Pro, you have this tab called text. And as you can see, currently no captions are available. You can create a caption from transcript, which we are not going to do right now. You can create a new caption track. This is if you want to do it manually right here in Premiere Pro, I believe. And then the one that I just always use is import captions from file, since we have a beautiful SRT file from TurboScribe. So import captions from file. I'm going to head over to my folder, and here we are. And then just press open. And then it asks me this. Well, the format is of course subtitles, since it's not teletext or anything of the others, it's just normal subtitles. Stream not for right now. The style, none. I don't even know what the style actually is. And then the starting point, and this is very important because if you set this setting wrong, the SRT file will just go everywhere and it won't work. This is very great if you have, for example, the separate files, as I told you, like you have a webinar of an hour and now you have 2 SRT files of half an hour. You really need to think about, hey, am I going to create separate sequences, or am I going to first set the first half of that webinar to the in and output of 30 and then press source timecode, and the second one you can do either timeline start or playhead position, and I would recommend for that specific instance, I would say playhead position. But since this is just a demo of 26 seconds and the SRT file is set to 0, and my timeline as well, I'm just going to create the source timecode. And then I'm going to press OK. And there we go. Our captions are created, as you can see right here. And then it probably already set it pretty correctly as far as I can see. So let's just play the video, and then there we go. I'm going to set my audio a little bit louder for this one. On this YouTube channel, I've made a video in which I shared 5 presentation tips. However, I only told them and explained them, but I didn't really demo them. And I do think that it is very necessary for these tips to have a sort of demo or show you what I mean with what I told you in that video. That video you can find right there. With that said and done, let's start the intro and start the rest of the video. Let's go. Well, as you can see, it did a pretty good job. So what you then can do is, if it translated it pretty well, of course, but it doesn't have a lot of extra audio. So what you then can do is, let's say, hey, this is the segment, as you can see on my screen. So the first sentence: on this YouTube channel, I've made a video in which I shared, and then I think, at least what I always do is I like to have 2 sentences, as I told you in the previous video as well. So here inside of Adobe Premiere Pro, you can just copy this text by clicking on it. You can just copy them, then delete them, copy them right over here, and then you can just delete this file. And if you, you need to close this one as well. And right now we have an empty captions segment, so you can just delete it, and then it's set, and then you have 1 segment less. However, as you probably already guessed, in which I shared 5 presentation tips. The video or the caption segment is a little bit short since I added more text, but I didn't extend it. So then just go to your PR sequence right here and just extend it until you are satisfied and it's long enough. In which I shared 5 presentation tips. A little bit longer, so let's say it like this. 5 presentation tips. However, I like this one. But then we have another problem, and that is that I don't like to have 1 large sentence on top and then only 2 small words in the middle, because it's, to me and to my eye and aesthetically, it doesn't look as pleasant to look at. So what I'm going to do is, you need to find a point in which it is nice to have sort of to break the sentence in half. So in this case it would be, on this YouTube channel I've made a video. That's cool. What follows next? And that is a very good idea to create these multiple sentences. So on this YouTube channel I've made a video. You can also say, where would I put a comma if I say it out loud? On this YouTube channel I've made a video, comma, in which I shared blah. So I am going to press an enter, and then you have, it looks like this. And I think this looks much nicer. On this YouTube channel by the way, now now I am specific. So then I am going to put it right over here. So extend it a little bit more to the beginning. And then you have, on this YouTube channel I've made a video in which I shared 5 presentation tips. However, I only told them. And I think you get the idea on how the rest of this works. So then you can just extend it, maybe translate a little bit the words so it fits more of your own language. As I told you, I've set it to informal on the translator. So if you have certain words or you have a sentence, hey, that's not really what I mean, since this is an AI and AI doesn't know you very well, it just creates an SRT file for you. So you might want to change some words, or if you have a very specific thing that you said, it is just nice to check it. Of course, you need to check it just as I'm doing right now. Since AI isn't perfect yet, you can always just manually change and adapt small things yourself. But in this instance, probably since it's only 26 seconds, it did a pretty good job. And after that, and after you have set it all correctly, what you then can do is press the three buttons here, and then you can export your captions to either a text file, CSV file, or SRT file. And I like the SRT file because usually I edit the captions as well inside of Premiere Pro. So my final version of the captions will come out of Premiere Pro. So I would like to have an SRT file so I can upload it to, for example, YouTube, so to say. So I have a perfectly good SRT file. And that is basically how you can create captions for your webinar. And now I'm going to hand it over to Presentation Walter for the final outro. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about webinars and how to host them, what gear to use, and what it's like to work at a tech startup, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click like on this video and hit that notification bell. And let me know, how do you create captions for your pre-recorded webinars? Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!